Boards don't hit back. Bull, have you ever hit a Makiwara? Hi everyone, welcome back to another Scotty Karate video. Today we're going to be going over the uses for the Makiwara. So if you don't have a Makiwara, you can build your own, not a big deal. I have a video on how to do it if you'd like to check it out. But today we're going to be going over a couple uses for it. One of which is the traditional use that you'll be probably doing already in your dojo if your dojo has a Makiwara, and that's going to be correcting your form. And what do I mean by that? Well, if you're got your Makiwara and you come out, let's pretend you're going to work on your punching. So you're going to put your first two knuckles up against the Makiwara, and you're going to work on your alignment of your arm, your elbow, your wrist. So if you put your fist up against the Makiwara and you're going to use your body to press into it, you'll see the Makiwara give a little bit. It's supposed to give a little bit. It is not a game on seeing how far you can press the Makiwara. It's not trying to push it against the wall. It's just simply putting pressure on it so you can feel how everything tactilely feels on your arm. So if you put your hand up here and you start pressing and your wrist is giving, so you're getting that resistance where you're giving on that and it's starting to hurt your wrist, it's probably because your wrist isn't straight. This is a good tool to correct those imperfections before you actually use it and actually hurt yourself. So you can always do this, put your fist on it, and start going through the motions. Just like you would a normal punch, press through, press through. You're going to check your alignment on everything, see if anything feels wonky, out of whack, make sure you're still good. But if you don't have a Makiwara, this can still be done at home. Just go to a wall, usually get a stud, that way you don't cause any damage to your wall. Do the exact same thing. Put your fist up against that stud and go through the motions to make sure your technique is good and your alignment. It's real simple, it's real effective, and it's something that you don't have to do very often, but check every so often. Make sure you're still in good alignment, because otherwise you're going to start, like say, punching a bag, and your wrist isn't going to be straight because you haven't been practicing correctly, and you're going to hurt your wrist real bad. So practice that. Second set we're going to be talking about is going to be 10 different strikes I do to it to help break down the bone to make them stronger. Now the first one is very straightforward, very classic karate punch. You're going to strike with these first two knuckles, and you're going to be striking this pretty hard. You're not going to be just putting it up against it and pressing, right? That's the first technique. Second technique is actually striking the board. So you're going to be doing enough damage with enough power to cause a little bit of pain. This will hurt a little bit. It should not be so painful that you can't get through, let's say, 10 reps. If you can hit this 10 times and it's not hurting at all, you're probably not hitting hard enough. If you're hitting it, say, 4 or 5 times and it hurts so bad you can't take another one, probably hitting way too hard. So you're going to have to find your balance on that. Usually start off with, say, 10 reps each, and then build up. Get to where you're doing, say, 3 sets of those 10 reps of each one. So as you're doing these strikes, you're going to be putting a little bit of power and damage into it. So you're going to strike technique, this very classic punch. If your punch is a vertical instead of horizontal punch, same thing. Same thing applies. You're going to be putting some damage onto it. Now, next one we're going to be going over is the back two knuckles. And so this is a very common injury. So it's called a boxing fracture. And if you never had it, count your blessings, because that's lucky. But what happens is you'll be sparring, you'll be in a fight, you might even be doing, bag work, and you clip it where you just barely hit that pinky knuckle across it, and it actually breaks or fractures that bone. It's very painful, and due to it being very weak, it's very easy to do. So here's something I do to help that. I take these two knuckles and I strike the Makiwara. Just put it into it. Just striking with those two knuckles to help build that up. Next one we're going to be going over is going to be the back fist. So when you're on your back fist, you're still wanting to strike with these two knuckles. Just come across, strike with the back fist across the board. If you're wanting to work on the whole backhand, you got to do an open palm, backhand strike. So 2 for the backhand. 2 different techniques can be struck with different things. First 2 knuckles, whole back palm. Next one, front palm. So you have two spots you're striking with this. You got the actual palm itself, and then the whole hand. So if you're doing things like nose strikes or to the bridge of the nose, the lips, the teeth, you want to put that palm into it. So same thing, just put some pressure into it, put some damage. Let's pretend your technique you're working on is, say, a palm strike to the ears. Well, to do that, to get that damage done, to build that up, you're just going to take it, slap the Makiwara. That's all you have to do. Make sure the whole thing hits, and you're good. Now, let's work on our hammer fist. So if you don't know what hammer fist is, just simply take your fist, ball it up, and you're going to be striking with this pad on your hand. Okay? Moving on to the shudo, or karate chop, as it were. You're going to be striking with the palm on the side here. Right? Now, moving on to our last two. These are going to be your impis, or elbows. So, the impi and the elbow, the strike on the tip, is already very hard. So I usually don't do this to try and make it harder. I use it just to practice my strikes. Make sure all my alignment's good and I'm striking with the right part of the bone. Don't want to be striking with my forearm if I'm trying to do a elbow strike. The last one is for the actual forearm itself. So this, kind of like all arm conditioning, if you're doing your strikes with your arm going up and down it, this is a way to practice at home or by yourself with the Makiwara. Same thing, you're going to be striking with your forearm, going across it. Still good form, striking the wall. Now, that's simple. And that's all there really is, using the Makiwara. There's lots of different ways, different techniques. Anything that you use that you want to work on, you can work on with the Makiwara. All right, everyone. That's all I had for you today on the Makiwara. If you haven't made one yet and you'd like to, check out the link in the description below of how I made mine. And if you've made one or you use one, or if you've never used one, I'd like to know. I'd like to know how you get around not having one in the dojo if you don't have one. Let me know in the comments below. I'd like to hear from you. And as always, like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when my videos come out. All right. And like always, the harder you train, easier the fight.
Like, I'm over here trying not to scratch because I don't want to make noise. Like, even when the book lands.
I know, I saw you and you're like freaking out and I'm like, don't look.